Oh, Puppy of Interest 42, you heard the singing of the starting song, which means you knew it was time to come over and bark at me for attention. And then even before I finished the humming, you came over here, and then you ran away because you didn't want attention anymore. I see, how rude. Yes. Yes, I desire recompense for your thoughtless interruption. You must adhere to protocol, you squirmy little baby. Came over here, heard the humming, knew it was time for stream. Just decided, yeah, you yawn, you interrupt me, and then you leave. This is just like that video of 049 with the gender switching stone. No, you don't get to leave. You interrupted me, you little sweetie pumpkin. Go back to sleep. Go back to your nappy poo. So, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here of Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for the last 11 months and counting, because the daily stream streak must remain strong, I'm here to open my office door to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures for anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview. Perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next probably 1 hour to 90 minutes to go through the general Q&A. But before I do, I have to do a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, today's stream is sponsored. It's sponsored by us here at Site 42. If you want to support Site 42 and look fly while you're doing it, you can go grab the somewhat newly released Reservoir Docs t-shirt, featuring wonderful art made by Jade PNG of the SCP artist community, of Doctors Clef, Crow, Sherman, Sumerian, Kondraki, and Weddle. And so if you want to wear some SCP Foundation Doctors on your chest region, you can go to the scpstore.org to grab some now. Thank you to the scpstore.org for supporting Site 42. Also, we are in the midst of the final 35 hours of supporting SCP Galleonic in Kickstarter form, i.e. SCP The Anime. For the last 2 times we will be doing it as part of stream, let us enjoy their sweet, sweet trailer.
So, your choice. What will it be?
I'll hold tight to what little I have.
In the chat, intern Mini Croc says, I showed 049 the trailer of SCP anime, and he said it sucks. Also, he thinks it's AI. Well, first and foremost, you can't trust that French motherfucker on the opinion of artificial intelligence of art. 049 is over 500 years old. Doesn't know shit about computers. Come now. We don't trust 049 on that. Also, 049 is an it, not a he. All anomalies are objects, not its. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Thank you. Furthermore, someone asked how the Kickstarter for Gallionic is going. The Gallionic Kickstarter is at 252,000 euros, which gets the full soundtrack stretch goal. But with 35 hours left, I don't know if we'll be hitting the public works files, the ghost story dub, or the ending song. But hey, Mobile Task Force Side 42 codename Signal Boosters, share it, give more if you've got it, and let's see what we can do with 35 hours. I know, Puppy of Interest 42. That is important. And before I get into the stream subject today, of which Mini Croc actually gave me an interesting transfer over to, we've got a rare visit from Nurse Gracie from Medical. It is hard for us to get Nurse Gracie out of Medical for a visit. And so, this is a rare opportunity to say hello. Yes, Puppy of Interest 42. Someone else is getting attention. Look at that. Very good little sweetie pumpkin as well.
She is not little.
She is not little, no. It's a big sweetie pumpkin. It's a gourd.
Large.
Yes, my knuckles do need a bath.
Large baby.
Thank you, Nurse Gracie. Is that his wife? That's adorable. I am an asexual, aromantic researcher, thank you. And also, I am not married to a cat. Thank you.
Asexual and aromantic people can still get married, but yeah, not to cats. That's silly.
Okay. So, furthermore, oh my. Intern Pink Paws, intern Shahrad, intern Hinton, intern Echo, and intern Quacky, as well as intern Devariste. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Now, today's stream subject is pretty straightforward. A while ago, I was introduced to some new MAL-0 lore, and it's haunting me. You might notice today's stream is a little bit late. It's because I have spent all today, well, the morning at the gym for the Foundation Fitness Initiative, but later, because Dr. Vera Lovelace, aka user The Lone Claw, in our chat has changed the game in MAL-0 lore. And I have had to do a lot of reading. Because if you want to be introduced to Dr. Vera Lovelace, of course, with as little lore as there is on the wiki, despite the fact of how much reading I had to do so far today. So, one must start with the Tale series. Person of Interest File 27617-ARC. Legal name, Vera Lovelace. And this, if you go to New File, takes you to a 13 chapter plus prologue and epilogue introduction to the character of Dr. Vera Lovelace. See, you can see her far in the back there. And throughout this, you get the introduction of the character to existence. Once you go through this gauntlet, you jump over to SCP-9471, which is a SCP-9000 entry. Not a contest winner, but it did secure a pretty good number slot, seeing as it got the thematically relevant, not 1471 slot. Before jumping over, oh yes, and I cannot forget that if I go to the link, then we get the that version of the document. And then finishing off, there is one more tale. The, as it's called, Containment Reassessment. All of these are accessible from the Tales Series Hub Foundational Parasite. Subtitle, Friendship is Forever. Certainly nothing ominous about that subheading. So yes, I did the research, and this was inspired because yesterday, during stream, it was requested by Dr. Lovelace in the chat that I read one of the little transcriptions from 9471. And as I'm reading the 9471 documentation, I'm saying to myself in my head, something very similar to that was said in the descriptions. In the discussion. In the discussion, especially of 9471, there are many, many accusations of Dr. Vera Lovelace here on the wiki being a Mary Sue, a self's insert, an OC do not steal, a furry Sue, which is a new term that I was introduced to, the things you learn while you're doing research at the Foundation, I guess. And I gotta admit, while I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, man, the one transcript that you chose for me to read, yes, this does come off as Mary Sue-ish. What are the things, the qualities that I would say made me come to that conclusion? Well, you have a very confident, I'd say overly confident, and overly, from my perception at the time, a very overly powerful, overly confident character, completely not fussed in the face of the Overseer Council of the Foundation, our biggest, baddest bosses. And they are frustrated and not, are completely powerless against this random character. Now, of course, I don't know this random character, which leads me to these inferences. And so, while I'm going through this and I'm reading it, in my head, I'm going, okay, I am referring to my training. And to my training, I mean the wonderful video on YouTube, Self-Insertion and the SCP Wiki. Don't get any wrong ideas about that first word, okay? It's Self-Insertion and the SCP Wiki. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, This is by your favorite SCP YouTuber's favorite SCP YouTuber, Radiger. And by the way, look at this date here. June 20, 2025. I just happened to look at the date of the first tale. Target audience. When was target audience the introduction of Dr. Vera Lovelace on the wiki? Oh no, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. June 25th, 2025. I do not think, Dr. Lovelace, you intended to write your self-insert OC onto the wiki 5 days.
Greetings, my fellows. Welcome.
Hold on, my laptop is breaking. I want to
It's a wild and increasing
give me a second.
that is home to our favorite beloved ancient forum website, scpwiki.com.
See, this is the errors you guys don't see when my entire system is breaking.
Welcome. Second of all, the SCP Wiki is a collaborative creative writing community based around a numerical list of stories that are written in the style of clinical research documents.
Okay, Rad, it was nice to see you, but you don't have to explain the whole video. Go watch this video. It is a very well-performing video on Radiger's channel, and it's very important context for a lot of things that happen in the fandom space, on the SCP Wiki, and other fanfiction sites, and other places. But the thesis of this video is, number one, the trans-homestuck satellite, SCP-2721, is not bad, and is in fact a good story. Furthermore, nope, don't start playing again. Thank you. That the 2721 trans-homestuck satellite is good and not bad, in fact. And I agree with that. I also agree with Radiger's further assertion that Dante from Dante's Inferno is Naruto. But for context on that, you're going to have to go watch the video. Suffice it to say, Radiger's actual second thesis is that Dante's Inferno, one of the most important and lauded pieces of fictional writing in history, is also an OC, a self-insert. And so, while people rail against self-inserts when it comes to fiction, it's not always a bad thing. Self-insertion, as Radiger puts it, is a tool, and it can be wielded well, or it can be wielded poorly. And that is what I was repeating to myself as I was reading the output of that transcript from 9471 yesterday. I'm sitting here going, oh wow, this is some real OC, super powerful Mary Sue stuff. And don't let it get in your head. Don't let it get in your head. Because when it comes to 2721, the Homestuck satellite, even though the Tumblr cringe dialogue is there for a purpose, it is well-written Tumblr cringe dialogue, because it's doing that in a way that it seems legit, it still makes me cringe, and so I don't like it. So even though I can say, this is good art, it is well made, it is doing what it intends to do, I also don't like it. That's what was going through my head during the reading of the section of 9471. And because I remembered, oh wait, maybe I don't like it, but it's fine, I had to go through the whole thing to find out for sure. And spoiler alert for the rest of this dream subject. Okay, Dr. Vera Lovelace, I know you're here. Yes, you're actually kind of cool. Shut up, stop smiling like that. You smirk at my chat. So, how did I end up at the opinion that Dr. Vera Lovelace, this obvious Mary Sue, obvious OC, how do I know that it's actually kind of cool? Well, for starters, I read the rest of it. That's what I've been doing all day. I've been reading the documentation. DJ, you are exactly correct. I hate how well written this is. +1 kind of stuff. Yes, that is exactly right. So, I went through the origin story of this MAL-0 entity, which is the curmudgeonly Professor Bertram downloading the MAL-0 app because heckin' lonely and getting a very femininely proportioned MAL-0. I swear, if you guys try to fraternize with the anomalies now, I will not have it. You will be demoted to D class. I do not care how feminine the MAL-0 entity's hips are, okay? I do not care if, like Shakira, the MAL-0 entity's hips do not lie. You are not allowed to romance or fraternize with the anomalies, okay? You're getting this, right? You're getting this. When I show you this picture, you are not allowed to get aroused. You are not allowed to fraternize with the anomalies. This is not cool. You're not allowed. This is a warning because I do not trust any of our staff members. None of you. So suffice it to say, we're starting here with the origin of this MAL-0 entity. I know, I'm mad too, Puppy of Interest 42. I'm mad too. Intern Purper Rabbit. It's a boy, by the way. Actually, this one's a girl. And when I say that, I do in fact say that this entity is a girl and Dr. Vera Lovelace is a she-her. Because over the course of this MAL-0's existence, starting as an it, as they all do, Professor Bertram teaches the MAL-0 sign language, which I've heard was hypothesized with other MAL-0 entities. Professor Bertram teaches the MAL-0 science. Eventually, because MAL-0 entities don't sleep, the MAL-0 entity, now known as Vera Lovelace, becomes hyperfixated on science, becomes super Harvard PhD. The Foundation scouts the entity for a researcher position without knowing what it was, and they continued scouting it forever just because it's been a problem the whole time. This is the researcher that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. So once we discovered that Dr. Vera Lovelace, aka a MAL-0 entity, was sentient, sapient, able to communicate in sign language, willed herself to be able to manifest corporeally, and all other sorts of ridiculousness, well, we had to bring her in, if only because we promised to hire her, but also because we had to contain her. Obviously, we can't have something like that running around. But unlike most MAL-0s, unlike most Mary Sues, where one of the key compunctions of a Mary Sue entity that people have a trouble with, this is one of the ways the tool is wielded poorly, is Mary Sues typically do not face problems in their stories, and everybody likes them. This goes back to the old school origin of the term, which has to do with Star Trek fan fiction. And I mean Star Trek the original series fan fiction back in the early days of the Star Trek fandom. The Mary Sue handle came from a fan fiction where the character was very Mary Sue-ish. All the characters loved her, and she was so special, and she could solve any problem, and all the characters wanted to smooch her. Now, all of that I just said is the standard, well-worn mythology of the Mary Sue. It is important to realize that part of this disdain for Mary Sues is also kind of rooted in misogyny, as a lot of things are, because it's taking a woman person's special interest and mocking it for being a girl thing. So let's not lose that shade of it. But suffice it to say, if you read target audience followed by 9471 and containment reassessment, then you get a lot of number 1. Almost nobody likes Vera. The Overseer Council wants to use her for purposes and keep her contained. The Ethics Committee wants her dead. Even Bertram, her bestie, really has lost the pure relationship of having had with this entity and is instead very emotionally codependent. I beg the finest pardon, what do you mean there's more than one MAL-0? Oh, woes come. We already knew there was more than one MAL-0. If you read the 1471 document, every person who downloads the phone spawns a new MAL-0 for themselves into existence. So it's not the same MAL-0. It's every time someone downloads that SCP-3305, codenamed Bread Jesus Forsaken app, we get another MAL-0 entity we have to deal with. Woes come. I didn't know. And if you don't know, now you know. But when I got through target audience, and when I got through 9471, and when I got through containment assessment, I realized that even though I still respect Dr. Vera Lovelace as a character, I realize even more why I, Dr. Theron Sherman, do not like her. Because an infinitely immutable entity with overkill powers, living forever, resetting the universe when it has to be reset, trying to solve a problem but being really sad when you can't. All of this sticks in my craw like a certain other character from a long-running British science fiction television show that I have not been able to put into a box either. Dr. Vera Lovelace is a Mary Sue in the same manner that the Doctor is a Mary Sue. I'm so OP, and I am all capable, but also I'm very sad because I outlive all the people I care about, and I will shepherd forth with my responsibility. Except Lovelace doesn't even have the common decency to be sad about it. No, I'm not capable of being sad. Eto, bleh. So yes, out of this pataphysical narrative level, I can see and respect the entity. But I'm still not your biggest fan. But I see why you're good. And out of character, I do enjoy the character at the end of the day. Good work. Dr. Theron Sherman doesn't have to like her, but author Sherman's fine with it. Why do you have to do that? It hurts every time. So, suffice it to say, if you want to go listen to, if you want to go read the foundational Parasite lore, I gave them upvotes. I think it's pretty solid overall. You have to look through the Mary Sue. You have to look through the cracks to see the story, because it is right on its face that kind of Mary Sue where it's like, oh no, cringe furry OC, run away. But underneath it, it is well competently written. It does dodge the hardcore Mary Sue traps. I can't believe you did it. I can't believe you went that far and you managed to pull it off. An airplane of storytelling careening toward the ground, and you got it. Brava. Brava. Don't forget that she's an exception to pronoun protocols. Nope. I didn't forget. You will have noticed that while I did often refer to Dr. Vera Lovelace as the entity several times, as I have said in the past, and as is the case, if an entity is granted researchership at the Foundation, said entity is also granted its preferred pronouns. Therefore, Dr. Vera Lovelace is she, her. To the people in chat who have, during this segment, said along the lines of, I have read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, thank you for doing your homework. We appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. And now you know more about the wonderful world of the foundations of science fiction. Also, one more thing. Not a fan of Dr. Vera Lovelace because of her friendly little tea parties with 049. No. I don't like that bird. Not a fan. Don't be friends with the guy who murdered my bestie. Okay. Let me catch up on the donations that came in. And then we will do general Q&A for the next 30 to 60 minutes. But first of all, Woscom, not caring about the proper pronoun parlance protocols for Foundation staff members is a quick way to HR and the Ethics Committee. So even if you don't be anomaly racist to staff members, otherwise Clef might have words for you. Next, Dr. Sherman will be exposed as a Gary Stew. Well, Intern 5 Spec, here's the secret. If I never write the Dr. Sherman article, then he can't be a Gary Stew. That's the secret trick right there. Ha 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 ha. Intern Walker, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some Cheez-Its on your way past the commissary. Hi. Hello. Lone Claw, Dr. Vera Lovelace, thank you for 2 donations that I saw during our conversation about the character. As well as being a member, grab yourself some nachos on your way past the commissary. Thank you so much for taking the time to read all of it. I have to use emotional manipulation in my position of power to get people to be my friends. Smiley face. Yes. How nice for you. I'm just coping with the fact that, due to the fact that Director Lovelace oversees the 9471 project, and therefore the reality resets, that somehow this character is now of a higher rank than everybody else in the Foundation, and it frustrates me. Fun fact. Scientifically proven, Dr. Lovelace can be contained by titanium. Oh, that hurts my stomach. Why? Why would you do this to me? Are they even above the administrator? It depends on the canon, I would assume. If the administrator is some outer universal force, it is possible that the administrator is still above Dr. Vera Lovelace on the power rankings. But it's the same way that SCP-3812 is above everybody in the Foundation because 3812 is on the higher pataphysical levels, and so could just delete the wiki if it wanted to. Girl Boss Mallow. Canned dinosaur, that's too on the nose. I mean, it's not too on the nose, it's exactly on the nose. Good terminology use, good application of terminology. Skywarp, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a French onion soup on your way past the commissary. Don't worry, Dr. Sherman, she scares me too. Amen that. Dr. Sherman, since, according to Red Tape, the administrator is one of the Black Moon's goons, does that mean the Black Moon is the highest ranked individual in the Foundation? And then Woscom is saying the administrator is the counterbalance to SCP-001, the Black Moon. So those are two seemingly contrary things. There is no canon can be really confusing sometimes. The fungi will spread. Well, yes, intern E. As long as you like, share, subscribe, and comment and chat on this channel, then this fungi will spread all over the YouTube algorithm. So make sure you hit that like button. Kilber, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a Twinkie Wiener sandwich on your way past the commissary. Hey, Doctor, I wanted to ask if I can use a D class to test that book that got me here. I want to see if I can replicate the effects. Remind me about this book, Kilber. I'm trying to recall what kind of book got you here. I'm familiar with several different kinds of teleporting books. There's the bookends that make any book a teleporting book. But there's also mist books. There's all sorts of books that can travel. Do you know what kind of book you have? Intern MP Player. A what sandwich? A Twinkie Wiener sandwich is the preferred sandwich of a Mr. Al Yankovic. Weird Al, as he is called, enjoys an upside-down Twinkie, which you cut with a knife, place a hot dog within, and then squirt cream cheese upon it. Optionally, you may dunk it in a glass of milk before biting. But that is the Weird Al delicacy, the Twinkie Wiener sandwich. Desk, if I remember the film UHF properly, it sure looked like an uncooked hot dog. He's vegan now, so he can't eat them. They have tofu dogs. If anything, I would think tofu dogs would make it a little more palatable. Kilber, thank you for donating again to say, it was a copy of The King in Yellow. I read it and it dragged me here from S23 Sierpinski. Because of weird stuff, I don't really get it all in all honesty. Okay, but you still have the copy of the book, which means it didn't just plop you here. It also essentially turned itself inside out, so it's on the other side of the wormhole, or it is a stable wormhole book with an iteration of itself on the other side, right? Did you appear with the book in hand? Or how were you carrying the book through the teleportation? Do you remember? Did you go through like a trippy wormhole? Or did you just instantly transport you don't remember? Don't turn left. Well, yes, if I do, then Dr. Lovelace here would get bumped into, and that would be rude. Yes, from, in case you have not seen the thumbnail, oh, this is a new one. I gotta get rid. Don't lose that. I need the old one. Yeah, that's the new one. Yes, this is the current scenario if you look at it through the proper filters. Yes, as soon as I talked about her, she immediately came to stream. She knew. She always knows. Kilber, thank you for donating again to say. Had the book, Mobile Task Force grabbed me quickly after. Okay, you had the book. So, it's not a missed book, then. Wait, could it be? Is a missed book two-sided? No. You have to find another book to get back, so it's not a missed book because you had the book when you got here. So, in that case... Alright, well, we'll look into some teleporting books. Why don't you get some rest? It sounds kind of exhausting to make that trip. Why do you look like a GTA character in the thumbnail? That would be because Dr. Vera Lovelace uses a particular 3D art program to make the characters that she utilizes in her stories and that includes in her fan art. Now, depending on the photo, it comes out more or less real depending on the level of detail. For instance, in this first photo, I really thought this was like a straight-up photograph with a MAL-0 imposed in the back, kind of like the old Slenderman photos. And in fact, it still might be. Is this a real photograph, or is this... I'm trying to tell if these people are real or not. But here, this looks awfully convincing. This looks faker. But actually, because I was looking at it on mobile, I did not notice it looked faker. So this also looked like a real picture in a library, and I was wondering how you got a cosplayer in there to take the photo. Okay, so this is a real photo. Very nice. Cool. I feel better about thinking that one then. Because this is clearly 3D model people. But depending on the level of detail, you get to like chapter 4. And that's when I was like, okay, clearly this is a program that you're using. Clearly. Do you know Dr. Edmund Harley? Intern MP. Off the top of my head, I do not know that name. Should I know a Dr. Edmund Harley? Is that a researcher at a different site? Is it a researcher at my site? We have a lot of staff members. Dr. Edmund Harley. So this is over to site 107, I see. All right. I am somewhat familiar with the records from Dr. Harley. Now, I have only listened to as much of the records as I've reacted to on this channel. I still need to listen to more. And by the way, if you haven't yet, go listen to Find Us Alive, the SCP Foundation podcast by your favorite SCP YouTuber's favorite SCP YouTuber, Radiger. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If I blink one eye at a time, would 173 kill me? Well, intern Mona, either, depending on the canon you are in, blinking one eye on the other could protect you, although if you are untrained at it, if you haven't practiced, you might micro-blink your other eye, which still causes a problem. Beyond that, even if you can successfully alternate blinking your eyes, it's also possible that you might be in a universe where SCP-173 considers that cheating and then just snaps your neck anyways. Or, even worse, pulls out the Glock and bang bang. The statue has a Glock? Intern Gabriel, only in some universes. Oh, Synthetic Alien. Good to see you in the chat, Synth. In case you are unfamiliar, Synthetic Alien is our video editor and community manager when it comes to the shorts uploads and things like that, helping me to manage to do everything we do here at Site 42. So, Synth, good to see ya. For those of you who are questioning Desk, yes, there is currently a news story in America about a quadriplegic who is alleged to have shot somebody to death. So a person with no arms and no legs who managed to wield a gun. In fact, that particular quadriplegic person has multiple videos on YouTube of them wielding a firearm successfully. Therefore, yeah, don't, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Don't count anyone out in combat. You never know what they're capable of.
The person he allegedly shot was a passenger in his car that he was driving.
Yes, that is also true. Now, I am only tertiarily familiar with this case. If you want to look up quadriplegic person, shoots person, and then drives away in car on your own time, that's between you and your news feed. Unfortunately for us, that's just not SCP Foundation business. Sometimes normalcy is weirder than the anomalous. To quote known hunter of the supernatural Dean Winchester, humans, man. Humans. Intern Mads, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Hey, Doctor, what is the anti-mathematics division? Intern Bosch. The Anti-Mathematics Division is a joke club came up with by a group of researchers who wanted to bully junior researcher Ryman, who is one of our big anomalous math people. Anomalous math can get so boring. And so the Anti-Mathematics Division is for bullying junior researcher Ryman. Let me show you to... as a document here. Okay, here we are. SCP-6283. Hold on. No, not this one. I gotta make sure I'm getting the right article. No, this is not the right one. This is the one. Okay, so SCP-063-J, codename Non-Euclidean Geometries. So, item number 063-J, object class, not Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-063-J is to be stored in a standard issue Foundation aquatic containment box. During the winter months, SCP-063-J may be checked out for experimentation with explicit permission from 052. Due to previous frequent containment breaches, at no point during the summer is SCP-063-J allowed to be removed from its container. Descriptions. SCP-063-J is a surface made of polyvinyl chloride resin with a topological genus 0. When filled, SCP-063-J most closely resembles a sphere. Attempts to characterize the shape of SCP-063-J while empty, beyond trivial topological classification, are ongoing but have been described as frustrating and pointless. The anomalous properties of SCP-063-J manifest in two distinct effects. The first is that any individual that is made aware of SCP-063-J undergoes a compulsion to bring it to the immediate vicinity of the nearest large body of water that the individual deems clean. This effect appears to be seasonal. The second is that SCP-063 cannot be classified as Euclid. Junior researcher Ryman was recalled from his vacation to investigate the second anomalous effect. Here we have a table with a prompt for a test, the test, and the result. Prompt. Junior researcher Ryman was asked to fill SCP-063-J. Test. Inflated SCP-063-J halfway before running out of breath, took a 5-minute rest, then continued. Result. Success. Prompt. Junior researcher Ryman was asked to classify the geometry of a filled SCP-063-J. Test. Junior researcher Ryman spent 7 hours trying to draw 2 parallel lines on SCP-063-J. Result. Failure. Prompt. Junior researcher Ryman was asked to draw a triangle with angles adding up to 180 degrees on SCP-063-J. Test. Spent 4 hours drawing before running out of Sharpie ink. Result. Please, it's a beach ball. Note from junior researcher Ryman. Okay, I don't know how many times I have to explain this. Just because things are non-Euclidean doesn't mean they're anomalous or spooky. So what if you can't draw parallel lines on it or sum the angles of a triangle to 180? It's a beach ball. There's so many other interesting geometries, like hyperbolic or Seifert fibers. And look, I've been thinking about one that tracks the inner product of an arbitrary smooth manifold, and update. Junior researcher Ryman's access to SCP-063-J has been revoked because something is wrong with him. Junior researcher Ryman is also no longer allowed to talk about esoteric geometries. So yes, that is the core conceit of the Anti-Mathematics Division. Junior researcher Ryman is a huge math nerd and needs to be bullied. Please, it's a beach ball is making me laugh. Breadsticks, you have a perfectly functional sense of humor. Good job. Also, while I'm on the anti-mathematics division, I am going to hit you with one more mathematical anomaly before I return to the chat. And that is one of Desk's favorites, if I recall. SCP-314-J, codename Numerical Proofs That You Suck. So, object class safe, but kind of an asshole. Description: SCP-314-J is an anomalous mathematical textbook entitled Numerical Proofs, parentheses, That You Suck. Individuals who open the textbook are greeted with a blank page that begins to populate itself with a series of mathematical proofs, diagrams, flowcharts, bar charts, pie charts, and cake charts that culminate with a logically consistent rationale for why each individual is a terrible person. This invariably results in said individual not being able to be chill about this. Footnote: seriously, Kyle, it's just a textbook. And so if we go through several of the tests with this book, we introduced it to several researchers. But of course, being a math nerd, we had to show it to junior researcher Ryman. Individual test, junior researcher Ryman again. Result: SCP-314-J opened to a complex mathematical proof about sets or something. Junior researcher Ryman was heard to exclaim, "Finally, something that appreciates my work!" Following 3 weeks of work on the proof, junior researcher Ryman went into the testing chamber, only to run out 3 minutes later in tears. Notes: junior researcher Ryman officially reprimanded and told to grow up. Jesus, I thought you liked math shit. There are other tests. It is quite funny, but I just wanted to get the anti-mathematics division fully explained for the intern who asked. All right, I am back in the chat. It is refreshed. I found this page labeled SCP-000. Seems to be dummy file that seems hard to delete for some reason. Oh, yeah, I brought that up with IT. They said it's a placeholder that does something for the database integrity or something or other. Just don't mess with it. Intern Chell, thank you for sending a clock to today's containment hazard assessment team. And as I saw someone asked about a time check there, we are currently at the 60-minute mark of stream. Wow, that last 30 minutes went by fast. I have 30 minutes on the estimated stream time, but if we're feeling particularly zesty, maybe we can go for another 60. We'll see. Aflac, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a pack of Nacho Doritos on your way past the commissary. Good evening, Dr. Sherman. Apparently there's a group of snakes trying to unveil SCP-6969. Why do I, a guy in communications, get only strange shit? Well, you are in comms for the SCP Foundation. It's not like we're spying on groups of normal folk talking about normal things. But yes, we should not reveal SCP-6969 to the public. I do not want the consequences of the public knowing about the true anomalous properties of sexual ejaculation. It would only be too gruesome. Can SCP-035 take over SCP-076-2? Intern Mona, I would not be shocked if 035 could be worn by Abel. Abel is, by all factors, at least somewhat biologically human, in a manner that I think would work, but obviously we're not going to give SCP-035 that durable a body, especially one that can summon weapons from midair. Sounds like a bad plan. Now, at the very least, we do know that Abel can be killed, which means that 035 would then fall to the ground and be done. But it would be better if we didn't have to deal with that at all. I mean, the good news is that at least if you killed that iteration of Abel, and then Abel respawned in the sarcophagus, then we'd have Abel back. It wouldn't still be brainwashed by 035. It would just respawn again. If 035 were to get onto Abel, then Abel could respawn and fight 035 Abel, and it would be amazing for the Fight Club. Oh, well, first of all, do you think if 035 took over Abel, then that would count as death, and therefore Abel would respawn and there would be two Abel bodies? I didn't consider that, and I kind of hate it. Now, of course, if we put Abel versus 035 in Abel's body, we're dealing with the fact that while Abel is much more combat trained, 035 is much smarter, but has a decaying acid on the body, which, while mitigated by Abel's enhanced durability, still puts a clock on 035 and Abel's survival, whereas Garden Variety Abel would have the physical advantage. You know, it would cause a lot of collateral damage. I need to run this by accounting. Wait, we have a fight club? No, zombie redneck. Of course we don't have an SCP fight club. We don't even have a rule against talking about an SCP Fight Club because, you know, if there were an SCP Fight Club, then the first rule about SCP Fight Club would be to not talk about SCP Fight Club. But since there is no SCP Fight Club, there's no rule against talking about an SCP Fight Club because there is no SCP Fight Club on the 7th floor of the East Wing in the gym. We would never do that. Buy-in is $500. Oh, what? Did someone say something? Huh, weird. I got Sherman's favorite hat on a draw. Now I'm confused. I mean, have you seen my fabulous coif? That's why I so rarely wear hats. But I do have a favorite hat. But I haven't worn it in so long, and now you've got me worried that you've stolen it. I'm gonna have to check my closet after this. Oh, shucks, I'm late, aren't I? Yes, in fact, you are. Oh, it's the SCP guy. Intern computer, you are correct. It is I, the SCP guy. Oh, Jiminy sakes. You reminded me. I got to the sponsors, but I didn't say hello to everybody today. Damn it. I was so distracted by all the research I did for the theme. My apologies for not granting everyone a hello at the start of stream. For those of you who were punctual, thank you for your punctuality. Thank you to all of our members who were here today. And everybody, welcome. 1 hour later. And yes, Dr. Lovelace, I did see that you were in fact the most punctual chatter for your own stream subject. That is simply appropriate. So good work. Hey Desk got an oddly specific clef question. How would he feel if he was surrounded by staff who, all under a cognitohazard, started acting like cheesy villain minions and calling him Dr. Shotgun? While I am very confused, intern Sponge Boy, welcome to Site 42 staff, thank you for subscribing. I am looking to see what Desk's answer to this is, because I too am curious. Now I'm concerned of Clef getting a little full of it regarding his combat prowess, and I am also imagining Dr. Clef being the one in charge of the minions. Because in the SCP universe, Clef would qualify as someone the minions would follow around. And that fact horrifies me. Amuses me and horrifies me. Gilbert, thank you for donating again to say. Can't sleep, that book is stuck in my head now. Do you mean metaphorically, as in you are thinking about the book and its mysteries? Or literally, the book is jammed into your headspace right now? Because really, with teleporting books, it could be either. WD Gaster here from the Void, ready to never be employed. Intern Gaster, what are you talking about? I'm still waiting for your updates on the Dark Worlds project. I hear you've got a lot of civilians involved in that survey program. I want some results stat. We're here to do science, not to be spooky and mysterious in the chat. All right. Hold on a second. First of all, Kilber, thank you for donating again to say. Metaphorically in my head, it is intact. Very good. I'm glad it's physically intact. That's good news. We can work with that. Secondarily, computer gaming. Thank you for gifting 5 Site 42 promotions to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. If you got one of those promotions and you are currently present in the chat, then make sure to thank Computer Gaming for their generosity. OMG, it's him. Intern Cats for Meow. Which him are you talking about? Hey, Dr. Sherman, what are any of the SCPs that you have written? Well, Intern Bausch, if you would like to see the SCPs that I have personally written, you can go to my author page on the SCP database, which is the Sherm's author page in Site 42 Hub. Here, you'll be able to see my author page and the different SCPs that I have written, as well as done some voice or sound effects work for, and the translations of those articles, or at least translations of them. I haven't updated this in a couple years, so. But George the Chinchilla, the Office DVD that does a funny thing, Cancer but funny, Terminator with pattern screamers, The Flash but sad, and The Beach is Cake. And Cats for Meow. Oh, you were talking about me. Well, hello, yes. We've been streaming every day for the last 11 months, so your algorithm has been very cruel to you if it hasn't shown us to you recently. But make sure you hit that subscription bell if you want to see us more often. Or you can go to the Site 42 Discord server if you are old enough to join it, at which point you can get the live alert ping. I ping that Discord role at the start of every stream so you know when I'm going live. Dr. Lovelace, thank you for donating again to say. Author here, I'm generally so happy that you picked up on the subtext of my tales and article. A lot of people usually seem to miss it. Well, once I read that, I definitely had to look at it with more of a scholar's eye because I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And yes, I can see how the ostentatiousness of presentation of Dr. Vera Lovelace can lead into that furry Sue category so hard that the disgust, so to speak, makes people bounce off the actual story because they're not reading it clearly anymore because they're tuned out, they're turned off. And that's not the disgustingness of the character or the trope. That is their inherent disgust at the trope. There are some times where you see something that if you just don't like it, it takes you right out of the thing. And so we gotta worry about those people and their storytelling, but also not every story is for everyone. Intern TGM, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Tiger Claws, thank you for sending a 100 to the chat. I'm sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. And Banana Cat, thank you for your 2 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. GG's for your 2 months. Good banana. GG's for your 2 months. Desk has dropped us an answer to 369 Destroyer's chat. Let's see what we've got here. I can't find the image I was going to add to it. However, Clef would don the disguise of his superhero identity known as Chowder Clef. As you can see with the above link, Chowder Clef is real. Chowder Clef can hurt you. He wields a ladle and a pot of chowder. And Art of Chowder Clef by Rad, who is making several cameos in this stream today. Good for her. Yeah, no, I remember my first Christmas as an SCP YouTuber, and I am reading Christmas stories live on stream for a nice little Christmas party. Very funny, you. And I'm reading stories to the chat by a fireside video on YouTube by my TV. And I get to Chowderclef versus Santa Claus, or how Chowderclef saved Christmas. Quite an adventure. Quite an adventure. Rune, thank you for sending 100 to the chat. I'm sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. Char, thank you for sending the silver star to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure the award will be very validating, but we'll still get them to fight to get the gold star. Banana Cat, thank you for donating for the first time today, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a fried mozzarella on your way past the commissary. Can I eat some banana pie, or did Desk eat it all? Desk, how is the banana pie stocks? Cursed Traveler, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Get yourself some cheesecake on your way past the commissary. Current moon status. The moon watches, as always. The moon is starving, as always. The moon is enraged. That has been the news on the moon. All right, well, we will have to reach out to the Moon Wizard to get an update about that. I hope nothing has happened to Lunar Area 32. They have terrible luck up there. $100 stars. Thank you for sending a silver star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will keep fighting and fighting to get the gold star. That sounded like something Cecil Palmer would say. I agree, Minty Andrea. That does, in fact, seem like a Cecil Palmer line. Good work on creating a vibe, Cursed Traveler. Or by sharing one if you didn't make that up. I don't know if you made that up or not. If you did make it up, then good work. If you're sharing a reference, well, good reference. Tiger Claws, you are correct. We currently have 134 likes and 83 viewers. Good work, Site42 staff, on hitting the like button enough that the YouTube algorithm has been forced to bring us more people. More people who knew about Site42 but didn't even know we streamed, even though we've been streaming for 11 months and counting daily. So keep up that algorithmic love and let's bring the glory of the SCP Foundation to the people. Thank you, Mobile Task Force Sci-42, for helping the channel to support the SCP community and its authors and artists, the animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. Dr. Sherman, what would happen if the Plague Doctor was with 682? Did we do an 049682 test? I don't think we actually did that one. Termination test 682. Control F 049. We must have. SCP-049, non-applicable, overridden by 05 command. Termination log. SCP-049 was allowed to observe and immobilize SCP-682. After a long silence, SCP-049 commented that, "The pestilence! Never have I seen it so malignant!" SCP-049 appeared to be emotionally disturbed and was escorted to their chambers. See, I would imagine that 049's biological kill touch would be useful to destroying 682, but apparently it won't do it. Rude. killed my buddy Ray, but you couldn't kill 682, you jerk. Doomslayer is a nice guy. He has just lost all his friends and family and his pet because of the demons. Well, yes, Woscom, but plenty of nice people have one bad day and go crazy. It's not uncommon. Now, thankfully, Doomslayer seems to have kept the murder to the demon side of the fight. But still, Doomslayer's tendencies to murder everything is not great for the Foundation and its containment mission. We can't contain it if it's a bloody mess. Doomslayer's just Clef if he worked out. I think my cat is an SCP. She keeps attacking me without any reason. Do you have any advice? Well, we have so many anomalous cats on the database. It's kind of absurd. So I would not say it's surprising that your cat's an SCP. There's a lot of anomalous cats for some reason. Does Site 42 have a blacksmith? If not, I volunteer. Well, considering we had that blacksmith skeleton at the other site we talked about yesterday, maybe we're in the market one here at Site 42? Show us what you can do, and I'm sure we can work out something alongside the motor pool to share tools or something like that. What's the most dangerous SCP? Well, intern random poster, SCP-3812 can ascend to the higher pataphysical narrative level, where we are all just fan fiction characters on a website, and delete the website, murdering us all in one fell swoop. So 3812 is definitely a contender for the most dangerous, most powerful SCP. Furthermore, SCP-6101 has the description, the first line of its description is SCP-6101 is the most powerful SCP, but SCP-6101 would never hurt an innocent person. So I wouldn't say most dangerous unless you're a bad guy. What is your favorite SCP? Well, intern Schnecker, we are currently 6.5 minutes from the end of stream. And at the end of stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCP is like a tradition around these parts. So you can hang out for 6 minutes, I'll tell you. Or you can donate, and I'll tell you if you ask. Or you can cheat and go to yesterday's stream, because I said so at the end, so you can find out my favorite SCPs there. Either way, you'll know soon. I got an idea for 682. You can use SCP-6101. Ah, Raquel, intern Raquel, what a great idea. Yes, of course. SCP-6101 could completely obliterate 682 with zero effort. As SCP-6101, Ethan Prosper is the most powerful of SCPs, but right now, Ethan Prosper is sleeping, and it's just the travel schedule is really difficult, and we can handle 682, so we don't have to bother Ethan with that anomaly. No. We can handle it. We can handle it. Is this real? It is policy here at Site 42 that if someone asks if the SCP Foundation is real, we drop kayfabe and we say no. This is a recording booth. I am an actor. The SCP Wiki is a website of fan fiction. It is not real. There are not SCPs. They are fun stories. We do not pretend to be real because of that time in 2015 where those two little girls stabbed the third girl because Slender Man told them to. So no, we don't do that. We do not pretend to be real. That way, no one gets stabbed. So, back in character. Intern Rune, thank you for sending a 100 to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. Chat, you better keep it 100. Ah, Desk. Thank you for telling me that there actually is a 6101 test for 682. I did not realize we had done this. Okay, let me get to reading. Tissue test record. SCP-6101 asked SCP-6101-01. Okay, let me pull up the 6101 document real quick. So, for a quick reference, let's get the stats here. SCP-6101 has 2 guns which he carries with him at all times. The guns, which he has named Fear and Loathing, shoot bullets made of pure light and darkness respectively. His dog Heidi, sub-designated SCP-6101-01, is the second most powerful SCP. She is fiercely loyal to SCP-6101 and protects him from anomalous organizations who want to use his powers for themselves. So, good to know. 9-year-old Ethan Prosper, now that we have your stats, let's go back to the log. SCP-6101 asked SCP-6101-01, codename Heidi, to sniff and eat the tissue, which was consumed by it without causing any harm to the organism. 6101 asked researchers if there was one more sample, which was given to him. The individual then crushed the tissue with his hand, and soon after it was revealed that it had been erased from baseline reality. Termination test record. SCP-6101 was sent, you saw nothing, to SCP-682's containment cell, and the latter reacted mockingly. SCP-6101 then drew Fear, one of his weapons, and shot 682's paw, erasing it from reality with no regeneration occurring. The monster then realized the gravity of the situation and saw that SCP-6101 was not like the other anomalies that had been tested against it. SCP-6101 was the most powerful thing it had ever seen. SCP-682 then cried out for mercy, but SCP-6101 shot SCP-682 again, this time using Loathing, with the anomaly being entirely erased from existence. SCP-682 has been reclassified as neutralized. SCP-6101 received the Foundation's highest honor award, and the O5 Council declared SCP-682's termination day a global holiday. Note: poor Ethan, he would really adore this if it was genuine, and so would we. Signed, Dr. Cormack. So yes, we have a log for that. I accidentally ate SCP-999 thinking he was Jell-O. First of all, intern Lassie, 999 is a slime. It doesn't have gender markers. It's an it. All anomalies are its, but especially 999. Literally genderless slime. What are you doing? Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Secondarily, well, if you ate all of SCP-999, I'd be very impressed. SCP-999 is the size of a couch. It is literally 2 meters by 1 meter. So I really doubt you ate the entirety of SCP-999. But even eating... Pardon. I'm feeling sick at the idea of you doing that. Because SCP-999 tickles all the way through your digestive tract, which I hear is rather uncomfortable. So, best of luck. Is there a corn SCP? I'm from Nebraska, a farming state, and I want to know if there is a corn SCP. I just happen to be knowledgeable about a very corny SCP. SCP Maze Angel. SCP-1846. Do you actually live in Nebraska? That would be even funnier. Doesn't mention Nebraska, but 1846, the Maze Angel is a Caucasian human male, approximately 50 years of age. However, the entity's exterior is covered entirely in living maize, leaves that grow from its subdermal layer. These leaves do not undergo photosynthesis, consume nutrients, or serve any obvious purpose. It is assumed they are purely ornamental. The subject is capable of subsisting on a diet composed entirely of maize and will experience symptoms of malnutrition if it is fed a diet composed of any other foods. When 1846 is surrounded by any material not formed from granular materials, an unidentified force will invariably cause catastrophic damage to said material, apparently in order to clear a path between the sky and 1846. Should such a path exist, this force will attempt to abduct 1846. However, SCP-1846 is capable of resisting this force to a limited degree, typically being forced upwards at 0.5 meters per second. So, it's a corn angel that's currently being raptured. And we keep it contained because we don't know what's going to happen if we let it get raptured. So let's just keep it on the ground so we don't have to find out. Cornucopia ass is all I think of when I hear corn SCP now. The day I listened to Dr. Sherman reading it on Spotify was the day I learned not to listen to Spotify during class. Yes, do not break the rules of school. We at the Foundation value protocol. Also, yeah, that episode is disgusting. I would not listen to that in public either. Intern Ackerman, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dr. Sherman, how would we contain the milkshakes that bring all the boys to the yard? That is a problem. I mean, all those boys in the yard, that is a definite breach of secrecy. So, the first goal is to close down the shake shop. If they are not making said milkshakes, then we will not have any boys in the yard. So that is the main idea, is we have to close down the milkshake shop. Now, once we have done so, we can move the equipment to a site and run some tests. And depending on the boys that are summoned, perhaps it could be a quick and easy way to farm for D-class personnel. Is 1471 in your office or 1471-A? There's a difference. Intern Epic Cat. It is an iteration of SCP-1471, but it's not simply a -1. Bup, 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 bup. Bup, 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 bup. It is SCP-9471, which is... What is your dash designation again? I can't find it. Your dash designation is on one of these pages, and it's like a 5-digit designation for your dash. It's like 58 or 53 something. I don't remember where your designation... It's in the epilogue of target audience. That's where it was. Chapter select, skip to the end. Yes, Dr. Vera Lovelace, SCP-1471-A-58317. World building wise, you're telling me that there's 58,316 other MAL-0s that we've cataloged when you tell me that. That's what you just wrote into existence lore-wise. I hope you're happy with yourself. What if the milkshake attracts Abel? Well, intern Kota, Abel doesn't really identify with gender markers in the first place, so I think our non-binary friend there would not be pulled by that. All right, Site 42 staff, we are at the end of stream. And as I do at the end of stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. It's a tradition around these parts. It's asked all the time. Now's the time to tell you. But of course, I'm not going to tell you the SCPs I personally wrote are my favorites. That would be narcissistic. But if you want to read the SCPs that I wrote, then you could go to the Sherm's author page in Site 42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're on said database, you can go one tab over and find a list of links. Links that people are often asking about in the chat, but then they just don't go and look for them afterwards, no matter how much I hint at where the links are. But you guys know. You guys in the Containment Hazard Assessment team, you're smart enough to go to those links. My chat would never fail at such a task. So while you're at those links, you can become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member to help out Site 42 monthly. You can do Ko-Fi donations or YouTube super chats to donate to us one at a time. Either way, we appreciate your generosity of direct donations. They are the quickest way to keep Site 42 afloat for myself and the staff here. Furthermore, if you are part of the Broke Gang and you cannot donate, then do not fret. As a member of Mobile Task Force Site 42, codenamed the Signal Boosters, you can still help us to support Site 42 and the SCP projects we try and support, the SCP films and games and merch makers and podcasters, animators, as well as the SCP Wiki and its authors and artists themselves, by liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, chatting, not just on our stuff, but on their stuff too. When we shout them out, you go say hi, you comment, you say Dr. Sherman sent you if you got nothing else to say. That way you at least commented and you made the algorithm go burr. That's how you do it. So we thank you for your service. And now, real quick, I see Intern Happy and Shockwave. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. And now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one. It is a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 8980. Content warning on the last one. It's a rough read. Now, Site 42 staff, this has been another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. The desk would like me to remind y'all that tomorrow is Fan Art Friday, which means submit your fan art if you want it to be featured before it's too late. And also, remember it's gonna be early. Fan Art Fridays are always early, so be ready. Welcome to my secret lair on Skull Crusher Mountain. I hope that you've enjoyed your stay so far. I see you've met my assistant, Scarface. His appearance is quite disturbing, but I assure you he's harmless enough. He's a sweetheart, calls me master, and he has a way of finding pretty things and bringing them to me. Oh, and I'm so into you, but I'm way too smart for you. Even my henchmen think I'm crazy. I'm not surprised that you'd agree. If you could find some way to be a little bit less afraid of me, you'd see the voices that control me from inside my head say that I shouldn't kill you yet. The credit song is Skull Crusher Mountain by Jonathan Colton. Be safe, be well, Site 42 staff, and as always, secure, contain, protect.